Okay. So guys, now without any concern, let's start with first method of object class. First property. What is that? ToString. Check this heading ToString. Take the heading ToString. Why 56 only today? Many people are absent. Why? Or is it like still 5:30 they have in a mind? Huh? I guess yesterday class only I announced na 5 p.m. Okay. Now, guys, observe here. For our concern, we will create separate package now. Now we can happily go for it. Create a what? Package. And what will be the package name? Section 3 dot practice dot java. Okay. Now guys, here we will create a first class demo to string. Okay. Now, can I say guys, by default, this class also extends to object class? Correct? So, this class also having the properties of object class. Am I right? Okay. Let me show you. Whatever I given to you yesterday, those things correct or not? Now see, can I say this class is totally empty now? I am not having any method. Okay. So, demo to string dts equals to new demo to string, and guys dts dot, are you able to see from where these methods are coming? Can you see this? Is it visible? Everyone? Or should I do magnify? Visible? Okay. So here guys, from where all these methods are coming? Clone, equals, finalize, get class, hash code, notify all, ToString, wait. All methods coming from where? Object class. Is everyone clear? Okay. Whatever the things we discussed yesterday. Okay. Whatever the things we discussed yesterday. Okay. Now, here guys, first thing is we will deal with which method? ToString. Now, pay attention here. ToString. That name only suggests what it means. Convert any object into string. What is the meaning of ToString? Convert any object into string. Is everyone clear? So, here, now guys, I will give you some explanation. So, up to now guys, assume this is our object. Okay. So let's say it is an object of any class like demo class. Okay. It is an object of demo class. Now in this object, can I say some variable, some data member, anything will be present? Okay. Which is belongs to demo. Now this entire object guys converted to where? String. So this type of conversion, is possible by which method? ToString method. That name only suggests guys, convert any object into string. Convert any object into string. Okay. Now, nothing but if we get anything into string, okay, so now I will show you same thing here. So this is the object of demo toString. This object I will convert to string. So toString, return type is string, let's say str. Okay. Now guys, let me print. Okay. Shall we see how object looks in a string form? Correct, na? Object converted to string, and let's see how we will get. So this is nothing but output. This is the output. Okay. So now guys, don't worry. What is the meaning of that output? Everything I'll explain you later. Okay. Right now, demo to string, object convert to string, whatever the output you are able to see, can we say that is the string representation of object? Yes or no? That is none other than what? String representation of object. Is everyone clear? So now guys, here first method toString. So toString returns string representation of object. Okay, string representation of object. Now we will say this method converts any object into string form. Is everyone clear? Okay. Now, guys, by itself, toString output is in following structure, we will say. Okay. So by itself, guys, toString output is in following structure. What is that structure? Observe. Guys, section 3.practice.java. What is this? What is this? Package name. So can I say, guys, package name? Okay. Suasmita. Here 3D effect is running on. Now, so first thing is what? Package name. After package name, what is this? Class name. So package name dot class name at the rate. Can I say some random unique number? Something. Now anyhow that number don't have any explanation right now. So we will say it is nothing but what? Random unique number. Any confusion up to this? Pakka? So note down this. Note down the theory.
Printing statement. System is a class.
Correct.
So obviously that is not coming from object.
Obviously, that is coming from java.lang package because you are not importing.
Yeah.
Ah,
So is there any other method of getting into remove from system?
right now, whatever that is there. One is system.out, another is system.in. Okay, system.in.read. Read the character. Ah. And another is in automation, system.set property. We will see, Anirudh, don't worry.
So we can forget to come out.
Now, all online people, listen carefully. Whatever the official announcement you people got in your WhatsApp group, that is real. Don't feel someone playing April Fool for you. Okay, that also in the month of July. Okay. So, till 23rd, it will be online. After that, I am not in any mood to run any more online sessions. Okay. Till that, try to manage, do anything, come before that offline. Okay. Done? Hmm. Hey, done, everyone. Here, online people, done with the copy? Okay. So, write down the program. Done? Everyone? Okay. So, guys, now see, when we are when we are converting this into string, now everyone pay attention. Okay, everyone pay attention. So we are converting, we create the object, we convert object into string, we are printing. So this is nothing but string representation of object. Now guys, I will make only one change here. Up to now, always we will print or use, let's say, object reference dot variable name or object reference dot method name. We always use like this only. Okay. Now I will just do one change, guys. I'll delete this. Print directly object only. This is something which we never done till now. Correct? Okay. Now what I am doing? I am creating the object and directly I am printing that object. Check the output. What is the common? Is everyone clear? So nothing but guys, the concept is, even though we can call indirectly, explicitly to string method, but no need. Whenever you will print any object, by itself JVM invokes toString method. Is everyone clear? We are printing the object, so JVM will give us string representation by invoking toString method. Any confusion up to this? Confirm? So now guys, here we will add some more point. Whenever we will print any object reference, then internally JVM invoke toString method of that class. Is everyone clear? That means, can I say guys, toString we can call explicitly, or else just print the object implicitly, automatically they will call. Okay. So do one thing, take this case, I will make this point here only. Note down this case. Implicit call of toString, heading of this case. Implicit call of toString. Guys, done with the copy? Okay. So now guys, observe here. Observe here. What is this demo toString concern is? Okay. So guys, whenever we are printing the object internally, which method gets called? Which method gets called? ToString method. Automatically it will get printed. Okay. Now guys, what happened? See, some people say, means whatever the output you are getting here now, some people say this output is the address of object. What is your opinion? Okay. So it's like it is nothing but a what? Address of object. Okay. But I said some people, not we. Okay. So even though it looks like it is an address of object or something, now only keep in mind this is not an address. In fact, in a Java, there is no way available to fetch address of object. Address of object means location inside JVM memory. Let's say you got that location also. What you will do? Will you go that address? Any to Smita? Not a single BMTC bus will go on that address. Okay. So tell me, as an end user, what is our console row with that address? Okay, that's the reason Java people never expose anything which will give us address. But there are some people, because guys, now we are in a villain section, so many rumors and reality will come. Okay, so rumor says almost 60-70% people says it is the address of object. Okay, basically they don't break their head to understand what it is exactly. Okay, surely it is not address. I can prove you. How? Now don't feel like, sir, you will prove by showing the address. There is no way to fetch address of object. Now say, guys, tell me one thing. If, just I have one common sense level question. If this output, whatever we have, package name, class name, unique identity, something, is anything, if it is really, genuinely an address of object, do you think we can change? You only can. Do you think can we change? Do you think like Java people, that much foolish people, they make an address of object and they allow programmer, you change address. I don't have any problem. Is it like that? No. So obviously, if it is really an address, we should not able to change. Change address means what? Which concept I am hitting? Override. Which concept I am hitting? Overriding. So now, if I can override toString, it is hence proof it is not address. If I cannot override, there is a provision, na? Like some methods I cannot override, some methods cannot inherit. If it is genuinely an address, they will make a provision like that. Hey, no one can override, only you can access. Okay, let's see. Can you override toString? Yes, no. Problem solved. If I am overriding, if I can override toString, then will that be an address of object? No. Is everyone get the point? Okay. So biggest part here is this is nothing but string representation of object, not at all a address of object. Will you keep this point in your mind? Always? Okay. So now, let's say guys, here I will give my own string representation. My own string representation. Save this. Is it working? Because it will, as soon as you print, it will try to call toString method of current class. As I override, so obviously I will get overridden implementation. Same concept, runtime polymorphism, guys. After overriding, we will get change implementation. So that is my own string representation. Okay. So can we override toString? Yes, no. Yes. Okay. Screen not visible, huh? Guys, can you see my screen? Okay. Fine. Anushruti, I guess there is some issue from your side. So here we will say toString output is not a what? Address of object. Okay. Next question. Can we override toString? Yes, no. Yes. Answer is yes. Note down these 2 points and write down this program. Guys, done with the copy? Okay. Now guys, listen what I am saying. So we can override toString. This part is 100% clear. That means that is not an address of object. That part also clear. Okay. Now concern is why we will override toString. Okay. What is the need of override toString? When we will go for toString overriding. Okay. Guys, now you only think whenever we print the object, toString automatically get connect. Yes or no? Whenever we are printing the object, toString automatically invoke. That means, are you not thinking this is a very special power given to that toString? No, not any other method get called. Only toString get called. That means that method have some importance. That method have some kind of power. Okay. What is the need of that special power? Okay. What is the need to override toString? Surely that way is not like this. Okay. This is a invalid approach of overriding toString. Okay. Compilation point of view clear, but logically incorrect. Okay. Guys, can you hear me? Yes. Hmm. Okay. So now see, we are discussing like this is not a proper way of overriding toString method. Getting my point? Because we are totally misusing that power what toString is having. To understand that power, try to get one part, guys. Let's say I will remove this. Observe here neatly. There is something which you have to understand from observation now. I'll comment this method. So comment means now this method is not there. No overriding. Okay. Control slash. Now here let's say this is my one object. Okay. Now like this we will do one more object. So let's say DTS1, DTS2, DTS1, DTS2. So tell me total how many objects we have? Three objects. So can I say all three objects I am printing? So all three object representation I will get string representation as per object class or as per child class? As per object class because I am not overriding. Okay. So run this. Is it same or different? Everything is same, but this unique number is different. That means, can I say all object string representation is different? Is everyone getting my point? Now I will override this in this manner. Now I will override in this manner. Okay? Same. So now I will override. After overriding, it will give me string representation as per object class or as per child class? As per child class. Can I say this is wrong overriding? You create any object, string representation is same. That's the reason this is a invalid approach of overriding the toString method. Then how to override toString method? Okay, that part, guys, I want to explain you one with practical example. Okay, observe here. Let's say I will create a class student. Okay, what is my class? Student. Now, guys, every student. Now, so can I say in this class I will define the properties of student, some functionalities of student, behavior of student. So what are the basic properties any student will have? Name. Every student must have name, roll number, age. ID means roll number only there. Correct? Okay. So let's say here I will give string name, comma, int roll num. Okay. Okay. For a concern, let's say I have this much only. Okay. Basically, in a real time, you will have name, roll number, address. Okay. Let's say city, gender, many information are there. Okay. Right now, we will say, boss, we have name and roll number. Okay. Now, guys, to initialize this, we have to provide a constructor responsible for initialization. So, student, this is my constructor, and here I will say string name, comma, int roll num. And I hope now everyone in the position to understand this code. This dot name assigned to name, this dot roll num assigned to roll num. Okay. So ultimately, guys, I am defining the fields of student which having name, roll number, and this is the way here it will get initialized. Okay. Now guys, here what will happen? Now let's say I will define main method. Okay. So now guys, if let's say this is one of the application, assume, who are storing the data of students. So every student have different data. So internally every student is one object. Are you able to connect all the dots? Okay. Every student internally one object. So let's say I want to add one student here. I want to create one student. So let's say student S1 equals to new student. So let's say new student I will add, and how much information it is asking? Name, roll number. So let's say name of student is, let's say, Ramesh. Roll number is, let's say, 12, something like this. Is everyone clear? Okay. Now guys, like this, can I have one more student? Can I have n number of students like this? Okay, let me add student. So let's say like this, I have 3 students, guys. I have 3 students. Let's say Ramesh, Suresh, roll number 35, and Mahesh. Okay, let's say roll number is 20. Now guys, you tell me total how many students I am having here? 3 students. Now guys, after the class. Now here we have how many students? 3. Now let's say I will try to print this student. Okay, I am printing what? Student. So S1, S2, S3. So one by one I am printing the student. Now guys, for 2 seconds, forget about Java, forget about this object class, toString, nothing. Okay, just keep one question in your mind on a general common sense level. You have a student object. Okay, you are printing that object. What is the natural expectation you should get? What you should get? Name and roll number of that student. Means, is everyone agree with this? That means we should get that ununderstandable, unfaithful string representation, package name, class name, or we should get content present in that object. Content present in that object. Is everyone got the point? Obviously, as an end user, we don't have any concern with that package name, class name, and all that. Okay. We have a concern with what? Boss, I have an object, I am printing. So give me the content. What is present inside that object? This is the need to override toString. So if someone asks what is the need to override toString, or why we will override toString, or when we will override toString, whenever programmer wants content present inside the object, then we will override toString. Any confusion up to this? Confirm? See how? Now guys, if I run this, see, I am getting ununderstandable information of student, nothing. So instead of that, now guys, what we will do? Okay, we will override toString method. and say we override in such a manner, we will get data present inside object. So my student will have what? Name. So this is the name of my student plus name. Name is the variable. Basically for S1, name is Ramesh, correct? So name plus give backslash n. I hope you are aware. Backslash n means new line character. After that, roll num is
Welcome to the entered as an attendee in listen-only mode.
so guys now see we will make a theory. Okay, why to override to string? Okay, so here we will say any programmer will override toString method to get content present inside the object. Note down this point, why to override, then copy the program. Guys, done with the copy, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Online. So, give me confirmation. Is everyone clear about two-string method?
Yes.
Confirm? Pakka? So, what is the job of two-string? Convert anything into string. What is the job of two-string? Convert any object into string form. Why to override two-string? To get the content present inside the object. Clear? Okay. So now guys, take property number 2, which is the second property in object class. Hash. Take the heading as hash code. Take this heading. Public is a specifier, int is a return type, hash code is a method name. Done. Now listen, what exactly this hash code means. Okay. Basically, guys, now the part which I am going to explain, that part is plays very important role when we will start collections. Direct connection is there of hash code with a collection. Okay. What is that? What is that part is? What exactly this hash code means? Guys, hash code is nothing but a unique identity number provided by JVM to every object. See, whenever we create object in a Java, okay, JVM allocate one unique ID number. What JVM will allocate? Unique identity number. Okay. Just like, okay, just like every student take admission in a school, school will allocate roll number. Similarly, every object in a JVM, JVM will allocate unique ID number. That unique ID number provided by JVM is nothing but hash. Nothing but what? Hash code. So if someone asks you what is hash code, it is a unique identity number provided by JVM to every object. Is everyone clear? Okay. Now guys, what is the real use of this? Okay. So guys, this hash code is developed for fastest searching mechanism called as hashing search. Okay. Now what is this searching mechanism and what exactly this drama? Okay. So guys, pay attention here. If we are saying it is having related with collection. So what is the generalized meaning of collection? Collection means what? Group of something. Just like we will say I have a very good collection of movies. Someone having very good memories, collection of good memories, college memories, collection of songs, childhood, uh, old coin only you say, na? Okay. So, so maybe in our childhood we have collection of some bus tickets, some stickers. We used to do that. Okay. That collection is different. Okay. So now guys, if any kind of collection is there, okay. So collection means group of something. Now in a Java, collection means group of objects. Basic idea I am giving. Collection is nothing but what? Group of objects. Okay. Now see guys, let's say, let's say I have a collection. I have a collection, and in this collection, I want to store all students object. Possible? Okay. In previously we saw we can add n number of student. So all student object I will store inside this collection. Okay. So let's say this is student S1, S2, S3, S4, something like this. All students, so many students are there. Almost let's say 500 students are there. Okay. So these are all students object. Is everyone getting my point? Okay. In every student, name is there, roll number is there, some this kind of thing is available. Now guys, say whenever you have group of object or group of data, group of information, the basic common sense level operation is searching. If let's say you have a collection of songs, 500 songs, you want to search specific song, let's say specific movie, specific sticker, something is there. So whenever we have a group of something, what is the most common operation we will do? Search. Similarly, in here I have group of students. Now obviously what kind of operation I am expecting? Search a particular student. Okay. Now see, in that one approach of searching, there are three mechanisms of search, guys. Listen, how many mechanisms invented? Three till today. One is linear search, second is binary search, third is hashing search. Okay. Now what happen in linear search? Assume, let's say we are in our classroom. Okay. Online people, you imagine you are in classroom. So let's say you guys are in classroom and here 200 500 people are sitting. Okay. Now in this exactly what is my concern is I want to find where is Lakshman. Assume, what is my scenario? I want to find where is Lakshman. Okay. So one way of search Lakshman in 500 student is, obviously you guys will sit in a rows. Okay. So I will ask, are you Lakshman? 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 Like this I will find. Wherever I will find Lakshman, that will be my object. Are you getting my point? This is linear search. Tell me, fastest, medium, slowest? Slowest. If he available in a first row, okay. Available in a last row, gone. Is everyone clear with this? Okay, this is one way of searching. What is the second way? I told second mechanism, binary search. Linear is this one. Okay. Binary search means I have 500 students. I will divide. Binary. Divide by 2. 250 here, 250 there. Okay. Now I will find in one 250 slot. Okay. Here Lakshman available or not. If here available, second 250 slot, no need to check. Are you getting my point? Then That 250 again I will divide 125 student. 125 again I will divide. Now don't say middle. Okay. Okay. So let's say after 125, let's say one side 62 student, one side 63 student, 62.5 not happen. Okay. So now let's say in a 62 again you will divide 31, again you will divide 15, again divide. At last one will be pending. Who will be that fellow? Lakshmi. Getting my point? This is binary search. Divide the object, divide the content in a different zone. Okay. Now, fastest, medium, slowest. Medium. On an average, we will say fine. Now, instead of that, third way is I have a 500 students here. I want to identify Lakshman. I will check Lakshman. What is the roll number of this candidate? 53. Assume. I will come on stage. Roll number 53. Raise hand. Who will raise hand? Identification done. Now, who is it? Is fastest, slowest, medium? Fastest. So, can I say that a roll number is a unique identity number of particular candidate? Just like best example, our Aadhaar number. That is our unique identity. Okay, are you getting my point? Okay, so same way here hashing. So this providing a unique number, okay, to the object for its identification. This is hash code. Now you got the point. Why I am saying it is called as hashing search. Okay. Now, in when we will saw collection, there you will came to know there are many collections based on hash codes, like hash set, linked hash set, hash map, linked hash map, okay, hash table. Like these are the collection. What are these collection? We will discuss later. Don't break your head right now. But are you getting my point? Okay. So why they give hash code? So that fastest searching is possible. Is everyone getting my point? Now, not only this, internally JVM also use this. Let me tell you how. We people started automation, correct? So right now we are writing 10 lines of script, 20 lines of script, something like that. Okay, well and good. In a real time, do you think you have 20 lines of script? Obviously not. Okay, so there will be 500 lines of code, 1000 lines of code. Okay, now whenever our code length is increases, obviously number of objects running in that execution increases. Common sense level part. So whenever that number of objects are increases, what we are doing, we are giving a reference. Let's say driver. We are saying na driver dot. Whenever I am using driver, guys, what is our expectation? JVM should go identify the object with a reference as driver. Okay. Now this much melodrama also JVM will not do. They reduce their work. That driver reference connect with a unique hash code. Driver reference hash code directly connected. In a JVM internally so many objects will running. Why JVM get headache? Hey, are you having driver reference? Are you having driver reference? Are you having driver reference? Hash code is there. Connect. Hey, this is belongs to you. Take it, run it. Internal use of hash code. Is everyone clear with this? Got the point? Okay. So now again, I am saying it is a unique identity number. Then is it an address? No. Remember, student address is different and student roll number is different. Okay, got the point?
Sir, roll number is a number, but why they are saying that as code?
Code. We will see. So now, guys, Observe here. Let's say I have this class demos to string. Let's say this class only I will use. Okay. Now I will remove this. Okay. Now you tell me guys, is there any chance two students have same roll number? Pakka na? That means is there any chance two objects will have same hash code? I hope you got my point. Okay. So here DTS1 hash code. DTS1 hash code. DTS2 hash code. So as I am having three objects, can you see guys all three of So can you see all three objects have different hash code, different unique identity number. Is everyone clear? Okay, fine. Read on this. Guys, do one thing. Take the screenshot of this. Remaining part we will continue tomorrow 5 p.m. guys. Okay. Take the screenshot, everyone. You also. Done? Ah. Take screenshot of this. Okay. So guys, remaining topic about hash code, some interesting facts that we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow what time? 5 p.m. Okay.